Attention gamers, Dr. Rav here to provide some information on the latest medical pandemic taking over the world known as Yasuo syndrome. Yasuo syndrome is best defined as an untreatable disease that does major damage to a human central nervous system, namely the frontal lobe of the brain that controls judgment, which results in sporadic acts of greed, stupidity, and hostility. It is estimated that around 1 out of every 10 people have this horrible disease, so if you have any of the following symptoms, please seek medical attention immediately. Do you play or have you ever played Yasuo in a ranked game of League of Legends? Do you constantly try to forfeit games where your team is ahead purely because you yourself are sucking? Are you 12 years old? Do you find yourself dashing deeper and deeper into danger only to wonder how the hell you got into the enemy base by yourself with 3 bad guys? Can you not resist hitting your ult button when it glows up regardless of how bad the odds of you surviving are after you land? Do you put your shoes on and then your socks, occasionally choke on your own slobber, or struggle spelling words such as dog or cat? If you answered yes to any of these questions, there is a good chance you have Yasuo syndrome. But I figured a real-life case study looking into a rather severe case of this disease may help educate the masses. Full disclosure, this video was supposed to be the start to a new series on how to piss off ADCs, and I figured Tiny Dumbledore would be a good candidate for the first episode, considering the press of one key when you have 1600 AP is typically enough to kill an ADC 4 times over again, but I would have felt dirty marketing a video on how to annoy an ADC and then show a game where one gets a pentakill, all because of a severe case of Yasuo syndrome. But great news for you, my team also had someone affected by a similar disease known as Lee Sin syndrome, so if you are ready to be educated on this incredibly tragic disease that is spreading like wildfire while learning what it takes to overcome having a teammate plagued by such a curse, please slap that upward thumb button and subscribe for more. Okay, so right off the bat we hop into the winshitter's point of view, because this one doesn't even waste 2 minutes before slapping on his waiter outfit ready to feed all kinds of people, and none other than his fellow airbending brother is in line to be the first beneficiary of his stupidity. So pan down to bot lane and you probably wonder why I am all alone, and that's because my support, the guy whose Twitch we raided earlier this week to get his affiliate, has decided to thank me for shouting him out by running Nutcracko sped spellbook Shako support only to die all by himself at their red buff, which alarms the enemy body babies that I am a lonely leprechaun and gets me forced out of lane early. But enter dumb shit number 2 as I am running back to lane, coming in for I guess what he would call a gank, but anyone with eyeballs would call a moronic mental lapse, followed by him pacing back and forth in clear day trying to remember which key on his keyboard shoots that blue thing out of his hand, and after this imbecile paces around for 3 eternities he finally decides that dashing in just to get stunned, cucked and lit on fire will make it all worth the wait, before flashing to make sure he has a little bit of privacy behind some statue for his embarrassing death. But I don't carry around this giant ass 4-leaf clover to not test my luck, so I put the midget mobster in the circle of shame as they focus on my support, but Shako does typical Shako things and the greedy gunslinger does a front flip which lands her back at fountain. Back to the pisshead mid again, who just spent the last 45 seconds pinned to his tower, but for some odd reason his wind wall gives him the confidence to dash around like a dumbass, which prompts his brother to give him the ghost clone and slashy dash death combo. And I won't even bother showing if that Lee cleaned it up because you already know he didn't. But it's not like the windshitter came back to lane 20 seconds later and immediately got poked down and put in the same exact situation again, and fool a Yasuo once, shame on you, fool him twice, you are just taking advantage of the fact that he's missing chromosomes as the blind bimbo comes strolling in once again to do nothing but wave goodbye to the killer. God, how are we back at mid again? It's been like 40 seconds. Anyways, the windshitter lands 2 consecutive Qs against minions for the first time ever, which swaddles him in the swirls of stupidity that he uses to spin around and do nothing useful, dashing out of danger into danger and dying. But hey, Lee is almost on time this time, so at least we should be able to trade 1 for 1, right? Wrong, this blind kicky boy is dumber than the last and he gets shit on as well. Back to bot and I get the rat to run into my rainbow before telling that gem slut that his ult will have to take a rain check as we chase him back to tower, and Lee spits some gibberish in chat about not having mana, which explains a lot, but at least their jungler is off playing Dragon Slap Simulator with his mini-map turned off, which results in him losing a smite battle against my support's auto attack before dying. Maybe there is hope after all. Wait, maybe not. I forgot that my jungler is still trying to understand what exactly towers do when he asks Bambi if he can take a snooze under hers. But at least Operation Tilt This Trist is coming into effect as Chuckles and his mini chatterboxes has her feeling on edge, so I hit my win fight button to interrupt her bad decision before stopping Purple Nerps to give him one more sky nuke for the road, which weakened him enough for me and Chester the Jester Nutcracko to help me deliver one more magic gem Slut Smacko. Checking in on mid and Yasuo is casually missing tornadoes on stationary minions before running up to dumbass number 2 for Lee to show him how to properly miss a skill shot as they both group up and practice their synchronized get shit oning together without managing to do a single useful thing in that quote-unquote team fight. So I deem it time to pay a visit mid to murder some moron who didn't like playing with my supports Jack in the box, but more importantly to figure out what the hell has been going on up here to have Rift Alexa rapid fire blabbering about enemies being on killing sprees. We get in a brief cold war before the Fed Twin shows my support how many items he has, so I step in to show off this homicidal leprechaun's outplay button before syncing up with the boys to watch Trist catch her foot on some broken interaction and make her health disappear. I am happy to see Dick recalling because he can't feed anything when he is in Fountain, but then he gets this brilliant idea, which is to run out, stop to greet the ADC, put a decorative wall of wind up and then dash around like a coked up race horse to see just how many skill shots he can miss and enemies he can give kill participation to before riding a pissy plant in the wrong direction and dying in their base. And for a second his stupidity rubs off on me and I find myself in an awkward situation, so I giddily hobble away before taking the seedling satchel to surprise I'm a dead bitchville, but I activate my emergency backup plan called 200 years and insta give the bitch before her ticking time bomb takes me out. But why would I not have full confidence in the airhead at this point, as his tornado just barely misses the same zip code as his target, but there's no stopping that man from doing what he loves, which is playing chase and getting sent back to base, so he puts a wind wall up and proceeds to dash through before doing a total of 7 damage with his ult and dipping out, thinking that the blind bimbo and fake Shaco will distract them, and the plan is going great until some damn minions just have to tempt him to dash and slash them for a bit, just long enough to allow the bad guys to catch up. And this has that sparkling Springbok hype the hell up from her purple wax and passive stacks, but little does she know I am like the freaking Tom Brady of leading my receivers with these sky nukes, and the accuracy on my ult isn't too shabby either. Then I group up mid with the feeding Dunce bucket to ensure that he doesn't get bullied by his brother anymore, which turns out to be a bad move when Yone proves why he was mom's favorite, so I ask him to hold my nuke while I trophy myself, but then it's up to Yasuo to protect me, which he does by dashing straight past the danger, resulting in my death and him just continuing to press forward in the wrong direction before joining me and dropping the average IQ in our graveyard. They siege our base as Yas Q's a ward, which I guess is better than his next Q, but the moment 4 of them walk out of his camera scope, he forgets that they even exist and immediately starts dashing straight back toward bad decisions, which results in him getting stunned and cucked, but at least it allowed this little leprechaun to catch up to summon a purple Zeus Deuce to kill both of them. Which allows me and my jungler to go contest an objective, but Lee is still blind both from seeing and thinking, and since my support isn't around to auto attack, their jungle actually wins a smite battle, and I take consultation in the fact that I still sunk that shitter's battleship from over the wall. But the pressure of playing a 3v7 is starting to get to us, and even though I can flat out nuke that loser with the lamppost, we still have to deal with a sieging Trist and 2 morons who do things like flash just to synchronize their missed skill shots together, but luckily Yone still has some of that sped moron windshitter blood in him, so I put his ghost in timeout and show him what's at the end of the rainbow. The Wind Dick gets in a fierce battle with Bambi and decides to take a break from dashing just so she can bash that eat, and then he continues with his long-winded strategy to win this fight, and you just know that somewhere there's a village missing its idiot, and I am pretty sure we have found him as he proceeds to dash around like a clueless dog during a thunderstorm, and you just know that in his little pea-sized head he is classifying each one of these dumbass dashes as an outplay until that frolicking fawn finally puts him out of his misery. But your boy is causing waves mid against the Pageant King and his Vandal Rabbit as the Sonic shitter comes in and makes his presence known by missing a blueberry and drop-kicking Trist before dying and letting the big kids flatten this toddler. Then I am back defending base because our nexus is kind of wide open, but these morons claim that overextending is the play, and scary things happen when those two group up, because let me tell you, 2 ding-dongs don't make a right as they take turns diving into danger and dying, which forces us to reseed our wieners all flaccid back into our base and play a butt-clenching round of protect the nexus, which I first do by using my 200 years button on the rabbit, and then we chase the others as Ponytaildang lands a sick ult that does no damage, so I get impatient and flash to cage cuck them both before making them taste the rainbow, which prompts them to push, but I stay back because I just know that Windshitter's twin is going to try some funny business behind our backs, but when he arrives I say well if it isn't the sibling of the one who shits wind, and then I politely ask him where his health went. We live another day by fending off one more wave like this as Bloons tower defense to push them out of base, but the blind kickboxer is never fully satisfied until he rides a sonic shitter into danger, which results in both junglers taking a hike and me firing a nuke at the little knee nibbler, leaving me with the cast of 2 clowns 1 gem slut, and you can just see the look of disappointment on his face, wondering how we haven't lost yet with 2 people afflicted by Yasuo syndrome on our team. Then we run to river to claim squatters' rights over Elder Dragon when I put the caribou in a tiny cage to make it almost impossible for Lee to miss his shit, but that blind bitch never ceases to amaze me. Nevertheless, this secures us the big buff that makes all previous buffs irrelevant, so I first start my genocide on the windshitter family, then I carefully aim an ult at that bedazzled butt muncher, and Nutcracko hits a flash toothpick toss to finish off the furball. We stomp down mid to end this torture festival, and I tunnel like I'm drilling for oil to make sure our duo dumb shits, the Sped Airbender and his buddy old blind bimbo, don't get another opportunity to lose us the game. And so now you have seen Yasuo syndrome firsthand, evident by the one here who built a freaking Essence Reaver and put on an impressive collective 33 death performance with his blind butt buddy to make this just another typical day in League of Legends solo queue. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button for the algorithm and spreading the word about my content to your mother and her book club so we can continue growing faster than a wiener in a strip club. And I will link off-brand GG's Twitch stream in my description if you enjoyed his Shaco or like watching Thresh plays and other support shenanigans. Shout out to all the loyal ones on Patreon keeping this ship afloat when YouTube turns green dollar signs into red ash every time I say windshitter. And also everyone, please check that you have sub notifications for my channel enabled. They have been getting turned off for people. Pet your dog, jerk your ween, don't play Yasuo, and brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.